Hey everybody, RC here. Wanted to give you guys a couple of ideas on alignment inside of Photoshop. Now, I have a default Photoshop document set up here, and I have a series of squares that have been created on the canvas. So I have 5 squares. You could see those, rectangle 1 through rectangle 5. Now, I have my Move tool selected in Photoshop, and I want to talk a little bit about alignment and how to be able to align elements. You've probably already noticed by now that if you have a layer selected and you move it around, you do have the sense of smart guides that allow you to move things around, and it'll tell you, all right, well, now it's aligned towards that pink area that you see there. And if you move this over, it'll kind of give you ideas for how to get these elements set up. But what they don't do is they don't give you an option to be able to align to one another if you have multiple items, right? For example, if I wanted to take these 3 elements and I wanted to align them to the left, how would I do that? Or how would I center them? So the first thing that we're going to need to know is we're going to need to know which one of these elements are the elements that we're working with. So easiest way for you to do this would be to either command click one of the objects that you have there. Notice that immediately you get rectangle 1. Or you can right click using the Move tool and it'll tell you what layer you have selected. So that's rectangle 2. Right click here, that's rectangle 3. So we know that if we can command click this one, it will bring me to rectangle 3. Command click this one brings me to rectangle 2. Command click this one brings me to rectangle 1. Now, I want to take these elements and I want to align them all to the left. To do that, notice that I don't have any of these options available to me yet because I don't have more than one layer selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to single click on layer 1, right, rectangle 1, and I'm going to shift click all the way down to rectangle 3. That's going to grab all of these elements. Now that they have them selected, notice that now you have these options at the top that says, all right, well, for these 3 layers, do you want to align them so that the tops are aligned with one another? So that the middles are aligned with one another, the bottoms, or do you want to align them on the edges, left edges, centered, or right edges? If I select center, notice that they're all centered now. If I move it over to the left edge, you can go ahead and grab that, and now they're all left edged. If I want them to be right edged, I can select them to the right edge. Now, the other options that you have there have everything to do with spacing. So for example, if I have this one and this one a little bit lower from one another, I want to grab this and I want to create even spacing across these. What I would do is I would single click on all 3 of those layers, and now that I have them set, I can space them so that they're either spaced evenly across the top edges, across the centers, or across the bottom. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and select the center. Now the spacing for them is aligned towards the middle. Now here's the part that I think is a little hard to understand when you're working with this, and I'm going to move these aside here. The reason that they seem out of whack here in terms of spacing has nothing to do with the fact that it's not working the way that you want it, but more to do with the fact that it's aligning from this center to this center and from this center to this center. If you had 3 shapes of equal size, let's go ahead and grab that. And I'm going to grab rectangle 6, and I'm just going to do 2 more copies, right? So I'm going to take this second one, and I'm going to move this one down. And then I'm going to grab the third one, and I'm going to move that one down. Now, all of these are of the same height. So if you wanted these to be evenly spaced, you would select all 3 of these, and now we would use this center. You'll notice that now the spacing happens to be even because they are all of even size. So that's why you don't necessarily see the spacing here, right? This one's taller, this one's shorter, this one's in between the 2. The other option here now, I'm going to turn these off. I'm going to grab this one here, and I'm going to move this one over this way. I'm going to grab this one, I'm going to move this one this way. I'm going to grab this one, I'm going to move this one this way. Now that we have those elements set, I'm going to grab all 3 of those elements. Notice that I can align them immediately to the center, and then I can distribute the spacing here horizontally, right? Left edges, center, or right. If I do that, now they're evenly spaced between these. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about here is if you want to grab an element and you want to align it to a specific area, another way for you to do this is to use the selection tool. If I grab the selection tool, hit the keyboard shortcut M, and I say, all right, well, I want to draw a selection here. Once you have a selection set and you're using the move tool, you can align to that selection. So I have this element here and I have a selection set up. Notice that if I single click on this, it puts the top edge to the selection, bottom edge to the selection, right edge to the selection, right? If I want it to be in the middle, I can grab that and move that towards the middle of the selection. So if I deselect, now I have that in that one area. If you want to align this to the center of the canvas, just draw a selection across the canvas. And now using your move tool, you can align towards the middle there, align towards the middle there. And now you have an item to the selection. Now, do you need that all that often? Not necessarily, because Smart Guides does do a really good job of kind of getting you if you need to get to the center. But sometimes I think it's a lot easier to just do a Command A to select all and then click, click. There's no guesswork. You know that you can get exactly to it. So that's just a quick way for you to be able to do alignment with shapes, why things would be a little off if you try to distribute, and how to be able to align to an individual selection. My name is RC. Thanks for watching.